All right, folks. Jesse with Hummingbird Guitars here, back with probably the last episode of this Romeo and Julieta box build with MGBguitars.com pitch bender bridge. What I like about this is this thing just pops back in. You don't have to unscrew it, kind of like a Stratocaster, so it's easy to take off and put back on. So anyways, I just got this emblem drying real quick. I got all the frets installed. Now I want to say the last video I noticed that the fret slots weren't deep enough. I did get these from Dogleg Steve in the UK, but I want to make sure that it wasn't his fault. He sends them thick, and I had to plane them down, and there's just a little bit of variation on the top side, and I must have just took too much off of the top side. So that's my bad. But anyways, the whole build here has MGB hardware except for the pickup. I was mistaken. I thought this was a hot tuna that I had in my, I put all my parts in buckets when I'm ready to start building, and this was not a hot tuna. It was just some other brand I had. So anyways, what we got left here is install the tuners and the strings. I'll turn you here, see if this works. You may not get the best view, but this is what I got. Okay. So I'll show you the inside, how I got it rigged up. Again, this box, I installed the magnets, and it closes really nice and tightly, and that's what the inside looks like. Sorry. So I grounded my bridge here just with the connector, and I had to elongate this wire, which I guess that's okay. It's rarely ever going to be opened unless, if you want to store something in there, cigars or wacky tobacco or slides or picks or whatever. Anyways, this turned out, the neck turned out really nice. And this may seem small, but usually I put my hummingbirds in the middle if I put one on the headstock. This time I offset it, and I think it looks really cool like that. I think this is going to be a really neat guitar. So here we go with installing the tuners. You will need a depending, one sec, if you have a really hard wood, like I've been using hickory a lot lately, the screw holes you need to drill for the tuners should be a 5/64 drill bit. Since this is a real softer maple, I think I can get by with a 1/16 of an inch drill bit, and you'll need a 10mm socket and a #1 Phillips driver. So that closes just like that, real nicely. doesn't come open or anything. And I want to reiterate, throughout these videos and stuff, this is just my way of doing things. I'm not saying it's the only way. I'm not saying it's the best way. Everybody does things differently. And this is kind of how I perceive to things should be put together. So the main thing is just have fun and make some noise. I have my own little tweaks. So I always put the washers and nuts on there, inserts, threaded inserts, and just so I don't lose them. And I take them out and I just grab them like that. Maybe everybody does it this way. Push that up in there. Nice snug fit. Started with hand. And I like to set it where I like, you know, so the tuner is perpendicular with the headstock. You don't need to get it real tight, just tight enough that it stays. There's never any wrong way or right way to do things, in my opinion. It's just however you feel comfortable with. And, you know, if you feel that's the right way to do it, then do it your way. I've been building stringed instruments for about 8 years, and I still sometimes don't even know what I'm doing. And I joke a lot that I'm kind of the king of erasing my mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes, not only with building, but in life in general. And it's just how you come back and make it good. So I flip her over like this. This has always been a tricky part. You know, you can put tape around there. I don't ever like to take the time or anything. Just don't want to drill all the way through, because I've done that before. I feel like if you are comfortable with the depth that you just went, you'll see a ring of sawdust around the drill bit. So that can be your marker for the next holes you got to drill. Because I have broken off these little tiny screws. I've drilled through the headstock, and I guess it's all just experience and knowing the wood you're working with, and feeling the weight of the drill, and knowing your tools and all that stuff. This will probably be the longest video of them all. Don't tighten those too tight, because they will break off too if you tighten them too tight. This will be the longest video of this build, but I'm glad if anybody has watched any part of these videos or watched them all. I really appreciate it. There's always these protective stickers on the back of tuners, and I just peel them off. It's funny, I just peel them off and throw them on the floor, and they just disappear. You never see them again. I don't know. Well, that one stuck to my hand. But it's so weird. You'd think I always track in pieces of fret wire, you know, on my shoes. I find them on the carpet and stuff. But I never find these things anywhere. They're just, you throw them on the ground, they're lost forever. My shop is, as you could probably tell, or some of you have actually been here and know, this is just a little breezeway here to the actual garage. In the door that leads right into the kitchen, this one's being difficult. I keep that door open all year round. If I don't, in the summertime it gets super hot out here. In the wintertime it gets super cold. So I like to have a comfortable workspace. Even though it's not that comfortable, I can pretty much put my arms across and that's all I got. I'm gonna flip her back over and cinch these down pretty tight. Just like anything, time wears on stuff. If you're building a deck with treated lumber and you're using bolts and nuts, usually after a couple months you'll have to go back and tighten those. So just like any other guitar, handmade, factory made, whatever, you know, there's always maintenance to do. So I'm using GHS guitar boomers for my strings on this build. I really like these guitars, or these strings. This particular one is getting 46, 36, 26. So I think we can take this blue tape off now. Ever so, oh man, the tape. Bonded with the sticker a little bit, but I think that's okay. These are handmade instruments. There's so much beauty in imperfections that some things you just gotta look past because they're made with your two hands. Nothing is perfect, nobody's perfect. So it still looks really cool. Alright, so now you got your handy dandy string winder, and this has wound a lot of strings. Holy cow, I've had this for 8 years. Do the math. So we'll start up with the low string. Now, this is, again, my very first time installing any sort of pitch bending bridge. I have a Fender that's got a whammy bar on it. I can never keep it in tune. I hope this will be different. And that's kind of why I wanted to do the box the way I did, so that the box is the access. You open the box, that's how you string it up. I didn't want any other access holes or anything like that. Like I said, everybody does things their own way. So what we do is open her up. And I think the best, I don't know, you know, I'm just learning as we're talking and I'm showing you guys. I'm learning myself, so thank you for bearing with me. So I think the best is we'll just string all of them through. Make sure you're going in the correct holes. Oh man, what's going on? Go to your home. This one's being difficult. There we go. I see the light. I saw the light. And I walked towards it. 36 and 26. Oh, where are you? Where are you, light? Walk towards the light. Go towards the light. Come on. I'm sorry, video watchers. Should have put some hair around it. There we go. There we go. 3 strings in 3 holes. I've already checked with my straight edge. I think we're pretty close to being at the right action height we want. Obviously, you know, there'll be some adjustment. And some builds I do differently, you know. Sometimes I'll place the bridge way later, but typically what I do is I start with all straight and perpendicular lines, whether it's cigar boxes, solid bodies, whatever. I always start with that laser line each way and can get pretty close. So I actually haven't checked this one. It's a little tricky because your bridge on these pitch bending bridges they're offset from the center, so to accommodate the mechanism and stuff. So hopefully I didn't screw up. Now what I do, and again everybody strings up differently, but you want about 3 finger thicknesses. If you have some slack in it and you pull it tight, 3 fingers should fit in between the string and the nut. And then I just give it a good bend and pull it downwards and outwards. Always wind the strings into itself. So into the headstock, I should say. So on the top side, if you're looking at it face forward, it'd be your left. You are going to wind counterclockwise. Keep that string nice and tight with your thumb. You don't want too many winds around the tuning peg, because if you run out, you know, tuning over time, if they haven't broken yet, the string doesn't have any place to go. But as your revolutions go around the peg, your next revolution should always be underneath the last one. That way there's pressure coming up to hold this slack part tight in the hole. I love doing that. I got some grubby fingers. Okay. Clip that off. I just use the thickness of the clipper, put that on top of the peg head, and that's where I clip it. Again, I'm sure there's people that, you know, string up their instruments differently than me. This is just how I do it. It's funny, on the lighter gauge strings, you can't really do it this way. So sometimes I'll just grab the end with my teeth so it doesn't slip through. No rules. It's the name of this game. No rules. I got a buzz. I can tell that my string isn't sitting on my 0 fret, so I will have to file that nut a little bit more. And that's just fine. No big deal. Now we're on the other side of the headstock, so you're going to be winding the opposite way. Anybody watching these videos, definitely, you know, don't tell me that I'm doing anything wrong or anything like that, but I am always open to helpful suggestions and constructive criticism and stuff like that. That's why I love being part of this community. We all kind of support each other, and a lot of us have made some really good friendships building guitars. So same thing there. Looks like I need to file that nut slot. It's just a hair higher than that 0 fret, so it's buzzing on the 0 fret there. Pop this baby in. I think it works. Cool. Well, this is a 25-minute video. Throughout this building process, it looks like it's probably around an hour's worth of video, and it's taken me I don't know, maybe like 6 days to build this guitar. So I will do a final setup, and then of course I'll be posting videos and stuff like that. But I'll do a final setup, I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch me. We're all learning together. We're all at our own pace. So, you know, I really appreciate the support. So, happy building, and I'll see you when I do a sound check video. Thanks for watching.